At many times, life leaves us feeling lost and unable to understand the reasons behind so many things that happen. Maybe you're going through such a difficult phase that everything around you seems meaningless, making it hard to imagine that anything good could come from this suffering. But rest in peace, because you are not alone. What today feels like a whirlwind may just be a part of a much greater plan, a plan still beyond our understanding. Accepting this can be challenging, especially when we're in the midst of pain or uncertainty. However, what if I told you that every pain, every hardship is being used by God with a purpose far beyond what we can imagine? Believe this: nothing happens by chance. It might seem like a distant idea, hard to accept when sadness takes over, but it's precisely there that the beauty of the divine work lies. God doesn't only see the now. While we get stuck in the present moment, He already sees the end of the story, knowing how every piece fits perfectly to create something amazing. This message is especially for you who carry questions in your heart, trying to understand why things seem to have no answers. Maybe you ask yourself, why me? Why does this phase seem endless? Is God really with me right now? These questions are understandable and deeply human, and God knows the pain they carry inside. He understands when we can't see beyond the anguish, yet even so, He quietly says to you, "Trust me, I have a plan." Our vision is small, like looking at life through a narrow gap. We can't see everything, but God can. He knows exactly what is coming. Every stage, every suffering, every joy, and even the falls are part of a process that will lead you to something greater. It's hard to believe this when everything feels out of place, but it's at these moments that faith becomes our foundation, the solid ground that keeps us from falling. Have you ever thought that even the simplest details are under God's watchful eye? That delays, setbacks, and doors that don't open bring valuable lessons? This reflection doesn't aim to ignore pain or pretend everything is fine. It invites us to remember that even in the hardest times, God doesn't stop working. He wastes no event. What today seems like a wall may be shaping you, preparing you, and guiding you to live something you never imagined. This word is meant to touch your heart and remind you that even on days when everything seems chaotic, God is attentive to every detail. Persist. Keep believing, because the day will come when everything will make sense and you will clearly see that there was a plan unfolding all along. Before closing, I ask you a simple favor. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It helps a lot to keep spreading this message. When we hear about purpose, we often think of something grand, a noble life mission, something that brings complete fulfillment. But God's purpose goes beyond that. It reveals itself in small things, daily routines, unexpected encounters, and even in difficult moments that seem like mere obstacles to us. God's plan is detailed, meticulous, and far beyond our understanding. He is like a wise architect designing a great construction where every part, even the smallest, is essential to the whole. Often, we only see pieces of our story: a painful loss, an interrupted dream, a door that never opened. But God sees everything broadly. He wastes not a second of our journey. Every moment, every tear, every triumph is being used to compose a wonderful work, perfectly designed by the Creator who knows every inch of our heart. A striking example is Joseph's journey in the Old Testament. He was sold as a slave by his own brothers, unjustly condemned and thrown into prison. His life for years seemed like a series of losses and injustices. However, looking at the end of the story, we see it was all part of a purpose. Every hardship prepared Joseph for a greater plan. He became governor of Egypt and was responsible for saving a multitude during a famine. What seemed like ruin was actually a preparation process. When everything was finally revealed, he told his brothers, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." This story shows that God's purpose is not only about us, but also about the impact our lives have on others. Often, He allows us to face difficulties to shape our character, strengthen us, and lead us exactly where we need to be at the right time. Even when everything seems to collapse, even when we pray and hear no answer, even when God's silence seems deafening, one truth remains. He continues to act. The absence of visible signs does not mean absence of action. Faith is believing without seeing. It's trusting that while you cry, God is organizing the backstage to fulfill what was already planned for your life. In that place of trust, the soul finds rest, even amid the storm. Psalm 46:10 instructs us, "Be still and know that I am God." This is not just advice, but divine guidance. It's a call to let go of control, stop fighting with our own strength, and trust fully. When you surrender your fears to God, you're not giving in to defeat, but handing your battles over to the greatest warrior. You're saying, "God, even without understanding, I trust you." And that changes everything. Because even if nothing changes immediately, something inside you changes, and that change is the beginning of a new journey. Walking with God is made of stages, and each stage has its time, its season. There are times to sow and times to reap. Between them there is waiting, that silent interval that sometimes seems endless. But it is precisely in this waiting that God performs the greatest transformations. It is during this pause that He shapes us, prepares us for the blessings already on the way. It would make no sense to receive something great without the emotional and spiritual structure to sustain it. God, in His infinite goodness, prefers to strengthen us first, even if that means passing through deserts. In the desert, we discover the strength of dependence on Him, develop resilience, and deepen our intimacy with the Father. The destination is important, but the journey is also part of the purpose. Every step, every lesson, every challenge works together for the good of those who love God, even if they don't always understand it immediately. If you are here, listening to this message until the end, know that this didn't happen by chance. There is a reason, a purpose for you to be hearing these exact words at this moment in your life. Perhaps it's God Himself wanting to remind you that He is in control, that He has not forgotten you. Even when the sky seems closed and the world silent, He keeps working. And when everything seems unanswered, remember, the teacher remains silent during the test. Silence is not absence, it is trust. It is a sign that He knows you are ready to go through this stage, and at the right time, He will act. He will change the scene, bring the answer, open the paths, and all that confuses you today will be understood. You will realize that every tear had a meaning, every waiting was part of a bigger plan. God is still writing your story, and when He finishes a work, it is always perfect, always wonderful, far beyond what we imagine. To conclude, keep this truth in your heart. What seems like disorder today will be testimony tomorrow. What is pain today will be joy tomorrow. The door that is closed today is just guarding something much better. Keep moving forward, even slowly, even tired, keep going. Because God remains by your side, caring for every detail, and He will honor your faith, your persistence, your hope. Not because we deserve it, but because He is faithful. His faithfulness is eternal, and those who trust in the Lord will never be ashamed. Take a deep breath now and declare firmly, "Lord, I trust you." And allow this faith to lead your steps, renew your strength, and take you to greater places. Because what is coming is much better than all that has passed. May God bless you abundantly. And remember, this is not the end. It is only the beginning of something extraordinary. See you in the next video.